Hey everyone, welcome back to Great Sports Debates once again. Today we'll be covering our NBA playoff predictions. We might talk some WNBA and some other sports news as we get to it. But I'm trying to roll in at halftime during the last play-in game. If you remember on the channel, you know for the play-in games, we bet on a couple of them. We picked the Lakers to beat the Pelicans. We took the 76ers um, over the Heat, and then we took the Heat over Chicago today. So that's three picks. That's three wins. Uh, if you looked at our bets for UFC 300, we went 3-0 there with you know pretty much taking the gimmies. We took Bo Nickel, Bobby Green, and we also took Wei Lee. Uh, we thought about Alex, but we didn't do Alex. So we left a little money on the table there, but 3-0 is good coming off of 299 where we were 4-0 there. So we're on a hot streak right now, and we hope it continues with the NBA playoffs. I'll just go with the matchups randomly. I'm looking at the Caesars betting app for current odds. So those are the numbers that I'm using if I mention any odds. So first up, we have Cleveland versus Orlando. This is one I have avoided so far, and I'll probably continue to avoid. I was leaning Cleveland's way. There's a couple people I trust that really liked Orlando. I haven't seen Orlando enough this season to really feel one way or the other, so I avoided. But it looks like a lot of the money's going on Cleveland as that keeps climbing, and currently for the series that are minus 200. So that's one of the biggest movers. Another one that's moving not quite as quick, but it's a different number every time I look at it, at least at Caesars, is the Phoenix Suns. We told you as soon as we knew this matchup was here, get in on the Suns. I was going to wait to see if it got closer to even, but it's actually going the other way. So we jumped on Phoenix pretty early to beat the T Wolves at minus 130. Currently sitting at minus 140. Small bet there. It's definitely tough to pick against the T Wolves. You got Anthony Edwards, and it's a young team that's playing great. But come playoff time, I got to trust KD. He's got all the weapons around him. If he can't do it here, when will he be able to do it? So even though they're a 6 seed, the money's on them, and I like them as well. All right, one of the few underdogs we like here, just like I told you about with the 76ers over the Heat in the play-in game, I do think the 76ers could be as good as maybe the second best team in the East with Embiid. Now, Embiid didn't look great, and they could have and probably should have lost that game to Miami, but we got the win going money line there. I'm taking Philadelphia here. Currently, it looks like Philly's plus 105. I have to look to see what number I got them at. I don't know if it was that good, so maybe we'll do an add on there. The Knicks have had a good season, but don't get overhyped in the fact that they were the 2 seed. Just keep in mind, one way I look at it is, if the Pelicans were in the East, they would have been the 2 seed. So Boston played great in the East. Nobody else really put up that great of a record this year. The Knicks have a great coach that's always going to have them try hard and play well. But I think the 76ers should be able to just outmatch them. Embiid should be able to have his way with this team. And I'd honestly be surprised if they lost to the Knicks. Next up, we have Denver and the Lakers. This is one where I thought it might get a little thinner because you have a lot of the people, delusional Lakers fans, but I jumped on Denver at minus 325. It's already saying minus 420. So that's a huge movement in, I don't know, a couple of days or whatever it's been. But when you start looking at it realistically, I think somebody said that Denver's beat them 9 times in a row or something like that. And they got Murray back. No one's going to be able to match up with Jokic well. I know the Lakers are playing well to end the season, but I think Denver's just too tough of a matchup, and it made me a little nervous to watch that playing game. I think LeBron had 5 steals, and you don't typically see him hustle that much at this point in his career, but I think he's coming to play. But I expect Denver to win. I think if Denver wins the first couple of games, he loses that momentum as well. Okay, the next one's a really interesting one because this one locked in early. Line hasn't changed too much. I got Clippers at plus 120. They're currently sitting at plus 115. So technically, this is another underdog. They have Dallas at minus 140. I like the Clippers here. I did a small bet. Um, it's kind of tough. I feel like the Clippers are a very talented team, but it's a team of guys that have been unreliable, whether it's injuries or chokes in the playoffs. But you know, assuming Kawhi can play his normal workload and play well, they should have the better team and they should get the win here. And then finally, we got Milwaukee and the Pacers. So I got Milwaukee here. This was even, I want to say, when I took it. It looks like Indiana is minus 140 now. So maybe that has to do with some Giannis news that we'll look into. But again, this is one. If I did do a bet on Milwaukee here, I know it was definitely the smallest of the bets we looked at. And then the final one I'm going to look to do is, of course, once OKC figures out who they have here, I'm going to be going with OKC. And I'm also looking at possibly doing a parlay with some of the teams I really like. Maybe I'll throw in OKC, Boston. And that's another series we haven't talked about, but obviously Boston's going to win their series. Boston, OKC. Maybe I'll throw Philly in there because I do really like them, even though they're an underdog in that series. And yeah, that might be it. So 4-team parlay, 4 teams that I really like. Throw those together with another small bet just to get it going. Our largest bet was by far on Denver. So we really like that bet a lot. Even with the odds not being good and getting worse. But just like I said earlier on the season, if you waited around to bet on Boston to win the East or Denver to win the West, you paid a worse price. So there's pros and cons to everything when it comes to the timing. Those are the series that I like. I might talk a little more about the bracket of who I like going all the way. Obviously, I've said a bunch of times I like Boston to come out of the East. That's a pretty sure thing. There's a lot of tough teams in the West, but I do think Denver's the top team, so I'm expecting them to come out of the West. Shifting over from NBA side, pending any questions you guys have, I want to talk a little bit about the WNBA. Now, we haven't typically covered it a whole lot, but as you know, most of these leagues seem to be star leagues. They set all kinds of records last year in the WNBA. And then this year, the college basketball blew all the ratings records out of the water, for women's basketball. So I think with, several big names coming in from the college game might rejuvenate the WNBA. But the thing that they're really going to have to do, everyone's talking about the ratings, the ratings, the ratings. I think the ratings are going to be okay. What they need to do is make sure that they negotiate a good TV deal next time. Someone can pull these numbers and correct me on this, but I saw somewhere, again, not verified, but I just wanted to hit on this $60 million TV deal. Now, I don't know what the length of that is compared to the NHL. I know the NHL has slightly better ratings than the WNBA, but their TV deal is like $625 million. I get it. They play more games. I don't know I don't remember the length of the deals off the top of my head, but it's a huge disparity between what they're getting to carry their games on TV. And I know they're making, at least some money from ticket sales. The Aces this last year were like the earliest, or maybe it was for this year, the earliest to sell out all their games. So they're starting to sell out small arenas, and I know the ticket prices aren't too high, but these are all kind of building blocks that could lead up to this being a real league. Now, mind you, when you talk about revenue split, they still have similar expenses as the NBA does. So it's going to be a long ways before that money is anywhere near that. And, the market's going to have to prove that it's worth anywhere near that. But I think they're going in the right direction. Last note, I just want to throw out a reminder to everybody. We have our live NFL draft coverage this Thursday. I want to say we're going to probably go on around 7:30ish. We're going to have a few guests on. We're going to hit everything in the first round, with the calls as they're making them, with our own unique opinions and thoughts on what the teams need, how the fits work, who we think won, and who we thought didn't. And I think that's the one spot where we'll definitely be able to bring it better than a lot of places because, as we're not going to be worried about saying which teams really didn't hit the mark. But anyhow, that's all I got. I'm going to get back to this playing game. I just wanted to get a quick pod out, a reminder about our draft coverage, and give you guys our basic series predictions on the pod. As you know, if you join as a member, you get access to all the bets, all the parlays, all of our little side action with bets, points, rebounds, blocks, pretty much any of the bets that we're making. And we're making bets on, pretty much every day. So a lot of bets to be made for the individual games and, picking parlays of what players are going to do what. But as always, if you enjoy the podcast, consider like, subscribe, leave a comment, and thanks a lot.